Mystic ancient secrets can all be answered when you ask the mystic access guru. That is I, the great exalted one. I have come across 3 astral projections through the god plane in the hero metamorphosis to give you the knowledge you deserve.
Yeah, Lindsay, I understand. You're on the leaderboard, I think, of that thing, aren't you? I was doing pretty good. Got 4 of them right when I was there when I did it. But while we're waiting on people to come in, let's where was it? Where was that? Oh shoot, it went away. It was a drunk dude getting kicked off an airplane. But I can't find it. Hey, Citizen 9. Hey, George. How's it going? So we've got we'll jump right into it. Brian's Logic. He's fucking something, isn't he? He's really something. Yeah, he just can't get it through his head that the earth isn't flat. So
okay. This video is going to be about this website, Beyond Horizons.
Hey, Debatable D. Hey, Stanley.
It calls itself Home of
Doodle Sound Lab. What? Doodle Sound Lab. Okay. We'll do that. I rented Nobody 2. It's fucking great. Let's see. Oh, okay, there you go. Is that Flatzoid really
Hey,
happened?
guys.
Yeah. Just a quick update from Fatzoid. Oops. Where is it? You don't want to see me.
Hey guys, I just wanted to give you a quick update around everything that happened a few weeks ago. I made a mistake, okay? And I know I did. I've never sugarcoated it, guys. I owned up for my mistake. And I just want to be totally clear here, guys. This was a one-time thing, okay? It never happened ever since. And it will never happen again. I swear.
Excellent. Fucking excellent. How do I get out of the... Why isn't that going back? Oh, because I opened it. In a different thing. Yeah, he's pretty good. Here's
He started crying, said he'd fallen in a trap. We figured maybe finally realized the earth's not flat. But the story that we heard only left everyone in doubt. With shame so overbearing you'd think he wiped a species out. He said it was just once as he wept in total shame. Out of guilt he struggled to breathe, at least that's what he claims. Oh, Flatzoid buddy, it's fine, it's nothing big to overcome. There is plenty more where it came from. You acted as if they robbed you of your last nickel, but all that really happened was you tickled your own pickle. Now there's one thing Flatzoid conveniently didn't tell. Was it MILF, hentai, or BBL? Or was the reason you started to pray 11 frames of gray? He said don't hold things in, just let it all out. About confessing he meant sure you stroked your little toad. He said it was so intense yesterday, he could audibly hear God's voice, which either means divine intervention or the actors making noise. He called to tell his wife, confessing all he'd done.
Night, Debatable D.
A storm of needless guilt unleashed for something meant to be fun. Then Flatzoid said sincerely, God cares about you and your seed. We're not sure what he meant exactly, and honestly there's no need. But acting like the world would end was honestly quite strange. He carried on like chaos reigned over a simple hand-to-gland exchange. Oh, Flatzoid friend, relax a bit, it's just something we guys do. Your crisis level didn't match the thing that you went through. You acted like the world would end or oceans turned to blood, but all that really happened was you just gave a really close friend a hug.
Shout out to Doodle Sound Lab. Fuck yeah. Excellent. Aw, that's so funny. That is funny as hell. Did I miss anybody while I was watching that? Nope. Everybody's here.
The farthest picture
I said hello to you, Stanley, right? I thought I did.
ever taken on Earth, right? This is what they promote, right? Now I'm going to show you stuff to do with this Beyond Horizons.
The other guy with the mic. Let's see. See if we can name him. That's Flatzoid. There's SSUM, Scum. There's PJ Crookshank with his eyebrow piercing.
From you.
Is that Vicky? Who else? That could be Will. It's probably Will.
Oh, Flatzoid, truly take a
Either Will or it's Flatzoid. One of the two. There aren't many people in the communities that have hair like that. But yeah, it's done very well. Yeah, that looks more like Will than Flatzoid. So I don't know. It's funny. It's fucking hilarious.
Website, how it has become, basically it has maybe defrauded itself. Maybe maybe there's a better way to explain it, but you'll understand when I go through this. The reason I'm focusing on this website is because these people are obviously a crowd of idiots. The people who run this website.
Oh, okay.
And they're obviously very dishonest, right? But their own dishonesty is, I'm going to show, it's going to come back to bite them.
Oh,
Originally, I was going to make this video and take apart some of their nonsense geometrically. But I'm not going to do that here. I've decided I'm going to go about this in a slightly different way, and maybe my next video in the close future will be pulling apart some of their nonsense geometrically, right? Because there's certain things they do that is not in alignment, let's just say, with a globe Earth, right? More on that in the future. The reason I'm focusing on these people is because this website, when I first originally came across it many years ago, there was no one on the website claiming that this proves the Earth is flat, or this proves the Earth is a globe, or any of that, right? Any of that nonsense. But the observations on the site proved the Earth was flat, not a globe, right?
How do you figure? How do you figure, Brian?
Now, the thing is, people within the arena of flat versus globe could argue all day long about that. If the people who were doing these observations, the photographers and the people running the website, right, for this, if those people, right, weren't getting involved in the argument, they were just doing what they do,
Right?
then I'd never make this video. I might use some of the observations and show them or whatever, but I would never make this video attacking this website and those who run it. And the reason I wouldn't have is because they weren't getting involved in the arena. They didn't step their foot in it, didn't dip their toe in it. But once you step over that,
Right. So they don't have a dog in the fight, Brian. They don't have a dog in the fight. They're just posting what they've observed and all the data. So if it hurts your feelings, that's more of a you problem. Something you need to work out.
that line, right, you are then choosing a side. Now you can go with reality and go,
Yeah, that's what this website is. Reality. Flat Earth is not reality, Brian.
whether it's flat, right, or you can go with the BS and claim a globe. And what this website did is it disappeared for a while. I don't know why. Then it came back, right, to where it is now, and it's pushing a load of globe nonsense, right? Now, there's no need for them to have done that. They could have just come back and
You mean pushing reality? Because that's what reality is, Brian. The Earth isn't flat, Brian.
just be a website like they were. I don't know why the website went down, but it did. But they came back, and it's globe this, globe that, globe the other thing, right? And they don't even know what they're talking about, right? And I'm going to show this, right? I'm going to show this here, right, in this video, and I'm going
Yeah, my one of my comments is isn't it strange that every surveyor, every PhD, every physics book, every scientist, every engineer, every geologist are all wrong, but you, a sub-IQ numpty who dropped out of school, knows what's up? Don't you find that statistically impossible? I do.
to show how their new stance completely debunks the validity of their site. Right?
Okay.
Their whole site is pointless now because of what they're doing. So I'm just going to go through it. I'm not going to explain what I'm going to do. And just go with me or come along with me, and we'll go through what I'm going to go through, and it'll become very obvious what the situation is at the end, right? I'll try and
Oh, it's obvious what the situation is, Brian. They showed globe evidence, and you don't like it. That's the obvious fact.
hold back the point I'm making until the end, right? It'll be difficult. Okay, you have up here, you have, right, there visibility facts. You have one of them, I have it here.
So I'm sorry to go off track, but I have a question for anybody in the audience. Anybody who's played any kind of video game or, I don't know, has a foot in reality. If you're going up against a guy who's wearing a baseball cap and you have ammo that will penetrate armor and you unload a 30-round magazine into that guy's head, he should die, right? He should die. He shouldn't be able to shoot you, right? I mean, I'm just thinking logically, maybe.
Is object, right? You have refraction.
Tarkov is pissing me off.
You're drawing this.
Not only are the fucking bots, the NPCs in the game, sometimes bulletproof, but the game has high penetration ammo locked out until you get like up to level 30. Fucking pisses me off.
Geometrics, ambient light, turbulence, air particles. Right, never mind all them for the moment. Just going to focus on the object now and then refraction next, right? So the object in sight, this is about how they determine whether you've seen, whether you've actually photographed the object.
I mean, I personally, if someone were to shoot me in the head with a BB gun, I wouldn't shoot back. I'd fucking run away crying. If I was wearing a helmet, yeah, maybe I'd stay there. But if I'm wearing a fucking baseball cap and someone shoots me in the head with a goddamn pea shooter, fucking asshole game.
In question at a distance or not, right? Whatever, right? This is kind of some of their standards or whatever, which they throw out. The object in sight is also a key aspect when photographing distant horizons. Well, you're not photographing horizons. The relevance is specifically related with the color of the distant object, as we require. See in bold.
Brian, do you know what this stuff is? Do you know what this is? That's a horizon. You say they're not photographing horizons. Anytime you point your camera out toward the sky and land, you're photographing the horizon, Brian. Did you know that? You're a fucking retard.
We require a constant contrast between it and the background that will usually be moderately illuminated and light blue. Common mountains are dark brown, losing color or strength with distance, highlighted again in bold, becoming light brown or even light blue, right? Right, so with distance this is, right? And you have these photographs here, which I'll show in a minute. In this image, right, this Atlas Mountains, 870 meters, 205 kilometers away.
No, Stanley's not. He's just... Never mind.
In Morocco, seen from Mulhacén, 3.479, is it 3,479 meters in Spain, right? So this is a 205 kilometer observation, right? In this image, we can see how the mountains appear as light blue, while the sky in the background is some steps lighter, and this difference creates the contrast required, in highlighted again, for the mountain to be seen in the distance. Okay? When mountains are snow covered, the situation is different and better for us, highlighted again in bold. Snow covered mountains are light white, and the distance.
Using mods. Are you playing single player, Tarkov? Because there's no mods for Escape from Tarkov.
Just decreases the luminosity.
Unless you bought those, and if you did, don't get caught.
While not changing the color as much in highlighted as with brown mountains. This effect is a way to assure that snow-covered mountains will be easier to be seen from the distance, once again highlighted, right, in bold, as the contrast with the background will be greater. As we can see in this image above, background sky is light blue, again, while the snow-covered mountains is nearly white, a color with high contrast with the background, right? Light reflecting snow is also a help for our purposes, as this light is also increasing contrast. So they're using the fact that there's a reflection of light off the snow, as that helps with the contrast, right? So this seems okay. This is another someone happened from Teruel to Spain, right? Or is it in Spain? I'm not sure. But the point being is that the point I'm making is they need contrast in your photograph. So you take the photograph to prove that you're actually seeing it. They need the contrast of the mountain or object with the background, right? This is important. And they're saying, right, over distance, a mountain without snow on it will start becoming kind of a blue, light blue, or dark blue, or whatever, right? But with snow on it, it will still hold a lot of this kind of white glare or whatever. And with the the reflection of light off of this snow helps as well, right? So I'm just going to.
You can tell how serious he is about this because he keeps using the word whatever.
Show these a second. Right. So I'm just going to make it big, so you can see just to show exactly what they're talking about. So there is one of the mount. There's the one with the snow right at the distance. Obviously, it's there. You can see it. The snow on it proves that it's there. And the reflection of the sunlight off of the snow. All this proves that that mountain is there. That is actually being photographed, right? Here's the other one without the snow, but as you can see, it's dark.
Yes, because without snow, without contrast, it could just look like clouds, Brian. So,
blue or whatever in color. And you can see the contrast with the sky in the background. So that proves that it is blocking all this what's to be seen in the background, because it is actually there. In a straight line of sight, the photographer is seeing it, right? So this is some of the standards that they require for your photograph to be entered onto their website as proof that you have a long distance photography, or sorry, that you have taken a long distance photograph, right, of an object, mountain, whatever, right? So once again, you can see the one with the snow and the one that is, that is dark blue. So there are some of their, just going to break back down, some of their standards, basically, right, for if you want to get your observation onto their website. So then we go into here, which is the visibility facts. Again, we did look at object, now we're looking at refraction. Right, as defined in Wikipedia, refraction is. Now, Wikipedia is not a source. That is obviously not a source for refraction, because Wikipedia can be changed by anyone. So Wikipedia, if that's what they're relying upon, is obviously not a source, of honesty and truth concerning the refraction of light.
but it is, Brian. It is.
Either way, it's interesting that they cite Wikipedia, right? I'm not saying Wikipedia is no good as a reference here and there, but Wikipedia itself can be changed. I know this myself because I've changed a few things on Wikipedia pages that were incorrect, and the people came in and changed them back to the incorrect position that they were in before I changed them. So
yeah, I'm thinking about getting back into single player Talk Hub just for practice. Just to, just for practice, so I don't lose any gear. But yeah, and see, like, practice and Escape from Tarkov, it's not the same as being in a real match. Hey, Lisa.
So Wikipedia is not, that's why Wikipedia is not cited. You can't cite Wikipedia because anyone can write any rubbish on it.
Yeah, you can cite Wikipedia, Brian. You can. You just have to vet it.
So, refraction.
But if you're not smart enough to vet it, you probably should stay away from it.
In our case, this is them. The wave changing direction is the visible light, right? And the transmission medium is atmospheric air. Now, that is some heap of total rubbish. Light is not a wave.
Yeah, light is a wave. Why do you think different colored lights have different colors, Brian? Could it be the fucking wavelength? You can measure the wavelength of microwaves, which is another form of light. It's just not visible light. You can measure, in your microwave, you can measure the length of a microwave. Because electromagnetic energy travels in waves, Brian.
Right? Mathematically, you can mathematically treat it as a wave in some instances, but it is not a wave, right? Direction is the visible light, and the transmission medium is atmospheric air. Atmospheric is begging the question.
No, it's not, Brian. The Earth is a sphere. Flat Earth is begging the question.
That is begging the question of a sphere Earth and an atmosphere, right, that surrounds it at pressure in a vacuum.
No, it's at atmospheric pressure. And everything's in a vacuum, Brian. Everything that exists is within the vacuum of space.
That is all nonsense. It's circular reasoning. And it has absolutely nothing got to do with refraction. First of all, I'm going to start with light, right? Light is a particle, as proven.
Right. Light is a photon, a particle of light. A discrete packet, if you will. And, yeah, it behaves in both a wave and a particle. Both, Brian. It depends on how you observe it.
Right? Via Albert Einstein getting the Nobel Prize for his work with the photoelectric effect.
So, Brian, do you think they give the Nobel Prize to morons? Do you think they would do that, Brian? Probably not, right?
He didn't. He's not responsible for the photoelectric effect, but he's responsible for detailing and explaining it, right, at the time to the greater, I don't know, community, right, the media and whoever else, right. He's responsible for that. That's what he got the Nobel Prize for. The point is that the photoelectric effect, right, proves, it's not the only thing that proves it, but it alone proves that light is not a wave, it is a particle.
Okay. Does the photoelectric effect prove that light is not a wave? No, the photoelectric effect does not prove light isn't a wave. Rather, it proves light has a particle nature, photons, and that the pure wave model couldn't explain demonstrating light's wave-particle duality, that it behaves as both waves and particles depending on the experiment. Wave theory failed because it predicted more intense light, bigger waves would eject electrons with more energy, but experiments showed frequency mattered, not intensity for electron energy, while intensity only increased the number of electrons. So you're absolutely fucking wrong, Brian, again.
A photon, a chunk of energy, right? And the photoelectric effect proves this. I'm not going to go through the photoelectric effect now, you can go through it yourself. It proves this because light has to be a particle for that effect to take place. It does take place, light is a particle. It's that simple, right? Light as a wave will not cause that effect. Okay, that is one of the main reasons why they know for a fact that light is not a wave. Also, right, one of my own critiques is that waves don't diffuse. Light diffuses. That's where you get the inverse square law. How does the inverse square law, how does that?
Each photon does not diffuse, Brian.
Adhere to a wave. It doesn't.
And waves do diffuse. Are you serious? Waves don't diffuse? Waves have perpetual energy? Is that what you're saying, Brian? God damn it, dude.
Right? Waves don't diffuse. But look, I could go on.
So Brian's saying that waves have infinite energy, that they completely defy the laws of motion and conservation of momentum.
About that longer and longer, but the point being is that you can go to the photoelectric
or conservation of energy
effect, the delayed choice quantum eraser experiment, and other like it's a known fact, right, that by those who study it within quantum mechanics, that light is not a wave, it's a particle. I mean,
that's weird because in quantum mechanics, the wave-particle duality is a thing, Brian. It's a thing, Brian, in quantum mechanics. So, right, this thing right here, this is in quantum mechanics. So, you're an idiot, and you do not know what you're talking about, Brian.
The photoelectric effect was a big driving force of quantum mechanics. Do you know what I mean? Quantum mechanics only exists as it is because they found this out. That allowed them to go further, right? Because they had a different mindset then. So the whole wave nature of light is wrong, right? Otherwise, the photoelectric effect wouldn't exist. Simple as that. Anyway, point is, this is all wrong, right? There is no wave of light, right? That's rubbish. So we move on. Air temperature varies along the height. Decrease the height, would that be off a horizontal plane? Decreasing from surface to tropopause, approximately at 11,000 meters above sea level. Yeah, what they're talking about there is roughly 10 meters, roughly 9-10 miles above sea level, another horizontal. And they're talking about how the temperature changes. It starts getting warmer after that. Now, that's a major issue for people who think it's a globe, right? Not an issue for those who understand things, but it's an issue for those who think it's a globe. Not for me as a flat earther, that's not an issue. But point being is that that's what they're referring to, as it's warmer closer to the surface and cools down up to about 10 miles up, right? I think it's about 10 miles up, it's about minus 51 degrees, something like that. Okay, this temperature change modifies air properties. Does it?
Yeah. Yes. It most certainly does, Brian.
No, air is still air. Specific.
So temperature change, you don't get a temperature inversion, or you don't get fluctuations with refraction. You're a fucking moron, Brian. Of course it has something to do with it.
It changes density, and so it changes its
Right, and density causes refraction, Brian. You don't know what you're talking about.
refractive index. It changes refractive index, does it? No, the refractive index of air is the refractive index of air.
Right. You can have a standard refractive index. You can have a higher refractive index. You can have a lower refractive index, Brian. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's not correct. It doesn't change its refractive index, because that's not what the refractive index is based upon.
Yes, the refractive index is based on how much more or less light would bend within our atmosphere. Brian, what the fuck are you talking about? So you're saying the refractive index of air doesn't change? It doesn't? Really? So every crane black swan. See, the internet isn't going to know what the fuck I'm talking about when I say black swan. It's going to want to show me pictures of black swans. Thought maybe that image would have gotten shoved in there. But you've seen the black swan photos, Brian. You've seen the one where the weather's really shitty and the cranes are all distorted and the horizon is further away. And then you've seen the ones where it's a nice day and there's no distortion. You've seen those, right, Brian? You think that was completely different fucking air? Well, it was, but you know what I'm saying. You think the atmospheric conditions were the same? No, they weren't, were they? Jesus, Brian, you're a fucking retard.
Right? It's the refractive index is based upon the speed, right, that light will take through a medium. That's what the refractive index is based upon.
Wow.
Right? So each medium will have its own refractive index. Air has its own, water has its own, whatever other medium has its own.
Right. Air has its own. It has a varying refractive index. That's why it's expressed as a ratio. See, it changes. Fuck me.
All these different mediums have their own refractive index. But the refractive index is about the speed in a straight line, right?
Now, that's what refraction is about. The refractive index basically measures the amount
that light takes. Now, this is a way of describing it. I don't know if light even has a speed. And I think it was Snell himself, Snell Descartes or whatever, within that whole thing, that it was presumed that light was just...
Hey, Cygnus.
Light was just, more or less instant. Light was instant. And I think in quantum mechanics that they showed light to be instant with the debunk.
Yeah, it's got to be a public humiliation fetish. It's got to be. It's like getting demasculated or fucking cucked. You know, people get off on that shit. People get off on being humiliated.
The whole sea from Einstein's equals mc squared, and from special and general relativity, blah, blah, blah. Point being is that, and even Einstein himself agreed that the whole speed of light thing was just an agreed upon convention, right? So it's all nonsense, right? There is no two-way, there is no one-way speed of light ever measured.
Yeah, there is, Brian. There is. You're a fucking dipshit.
Right? There's a two-way, you can have a
Not a goddamn brain in his head.
calculation of a two-way reflection, blah, blah, blah. That's not a one-way speed of light
No, Stanley, no need. He just isn't saying anything.
measurement, right? Point being is that when you're talking about the refractive index of air, it doesn't change, right? Right. What happens is there's less air as you rise because there is a greater density closer to the surface of Earth, and as you go up, that due to temperature, right? Due to temperature, there.
No, not due to temperature, Brian. Not due to temperature. It's due to gravity.
There is obviously a density gradient is created by the temperature, right?
No, density gradient is created by gravity, Brian.
So that's what that's about. But air itself, it's a refractive index of air, and the
If that was true, we'd have a temperature gradient, we'd have a pressure gradient horizontally from the equator to the North Pole or to the South Pole. We don't have that. Atmospheric pressure at sea level remains a constant. Everywhere you go.
refractive index of air is the refractive index of air, right? Air doesn't suddenly start becoming something else just because there's a greater concentration, or as even the use of the word density when referring to air and gases is wrong, right? I was even corrected on this myself because if you're going to refer to the density of air and gases, you have to talk about them in their cubic inch density, right?
What? In their cubic inch density? No, all matter has density, Brian. All matter has density. Fuck me. God damn, he's an idiot. He's a fucking idiot. So he doesn't think gas molecules have density. It's just they're dense when you put them all together in a little box. If they didn't have density alone, they won't have density when they're all put together, Brian. You're a fucking dumbass.
Right, per cubic inch or cubic, centimeter or meter, whatever way you want to describe it.
Jesus
but
Christ.
It's purely, as far as the density goes, air is gas. Gas is unbonded.
No, only noble gases are unbonded, Brian. Only noble gases cannot be bonded. Regular gases can be bonded. How do you think air has friction? How do you think air has friction, Brian?
So, it's only the concentration of the amount of gas atoms, molecules, particles within a cubic meter or whatever. That's what that's about. So none of them are bonded to each other. That's why gas diffuses, kind of like light. You know what I mean? Not saying that light is a gas or gas is a light or anything like that, but that is the truth. They both diffuse. That's why a gas is unbonded. And light is a photon. Light are like chunks of energy, not a wave. So the only way a gas can diffuse is because it's not bonded. But what they want to do is conflate gases and liquids because they're both fluids. They're both fluids because they both flow through pipes, different things like that, and they both will take the shape of their container, right? But doesn't mean they're the same state of matter, right? So,
no.
This nonsense about air and a change in the refractive index of air, that's a load of rubbish. When looking at a distant memory,
Again, Brian, present any physics book that agrees with you. That's all you got to do. Present any citation that agrees with you.
the line of sight is not always at the same height above sea level, right? as shown in this figure.
Yeah, I'm about 20 seconds delayed. I don't know why. I haven't set any delay.
Right? This is nonsense. Right? So when looking at a distance mountain, the line of sight is not always at the same height above sea level as shown in this figure. So if you're looking at a mountain, right, that is the same at a point on a distant mountain that's at the same height as you're at on your mountain, and you're looking straight horizontal at it, they're trying to say that there's a change in the air density between the point you're looking at and where you are, in the concentration of air through that straight line. No, there isn't.
Yeah, there is, because you're not on a flat Earth, Brian. You're on a curved Earth. And when you look down into the atmosphere, so you aren't looking straight across because light travels in a straight line. You're looking down into the atmosphere, which changes density, which changes the refraction.
That's a complete lie. Right? There is an angular size change, maybe, to the mountain, and maybe, there's an angular size change to the mountain in the distance. That happens. That debunks a globe, right?
How does angular size change debunk the globe, Brian? How? Angular size change has absolutely nothing to do with the shape of the ground you're under. That's under you, you dumb motherfucker.
A million times over, because there is no such thing as is shown in this diagram. There is no such thing as an angular size change, right, on a globe. It doesn't exist. Everything is or curve or it's nothing.
Again, angular size change has nothing to do with the curvature of the Earth, Brian. Shit changes in angular size when it goes away from you straight up. You ever see a bird fly? You know how a bird gets smaller as it goes away? That would happen whether the Earth is flat or sphere, Brian. My God, you're dumb.
There is no angular size change. There is no prospective effects.
Oh, I see what he's saying. Since we show the true relationship between sizes and distances using orthographics, he said, well, there is no perspective in it, so you can't change angular size. That's how dumb this motherfucker is. That's how utterly fucking foolish this dumb piece of shit is.
Point being is that they're trying to claim that as a person here is looking across to the tip of a mountain over here, right?
Right. There's going to be an angular size change. See, if the mountain was here, the angle would be wider than it is here. It's narrower, Brian. That's called an angular size change, you stupid motherfucker.
Right? That because they're divergent zeniths here, that there is this bulge between them, and that changes, right? That changes the supposed concentration of air along here because you're getting closer to this curved surface. Right, so that means there's a greater concentration of air close to the surface. So they're trying to say that causes a change for you, right? When looking at a distant mountain, the line of sight is not always at the same height above sea level as shown in this figure. This is not sea level. Level is a...
Yes, this is sea level, Brian. This line, this dark black line is sea level. Well, I mean, if this is the ocean, this is sea level.
Horizontal plane. Sea level is a horizontal.
No, sea level isn't a horizontal plane. It's curved around the Earth, Brian. It's a horizontal plane from your standpoint where you are. Anywhere away from you, it is no longer horizontal on that plane.
Right? This is a curved line. This is complete nonsense. This is why I'm attacking these bullshitters on this website. So this variation causes the...
Yeah, you're doing it in a video because you're too fucking cowardly to debate, Brian. You're too much of a chicken shit little bitch to debate.
Traveling light to cross air at different conditions, curving its trajectory as a consequence of changing refractive index, right? That's rubbish. And I'm going to show in a minute. They don't know what they're talking about. and then allowing hidden mountains to show up above the horizon. What they've just said here is in contradiction to this, so I'm going to read it again. This variation
No, it's not in contradiction, you dumb fuck.
causes the traveling light to cross here at different conditions, curving its trajectory as a consequence of changing refractive index. Right? That's right.
Yes, yes. It's absolutely true, Brian. Suck it. Cope harder, bitch.
Then they say, and then allowing hidden mountain, right? Hidden mountain. I should be saying, then allowing a hidden mountain to show up above, right, your horizon, not the horizon, right? So what they're trying to say is, when you're looking at something, your line of sight is curved. No, that's not. What that is not.
No, that's reality, Brian. That's fucking reality.
That is not 7 over and greater than 7 over 6R. That is not what they call atmospheric/terrestrial refraction.
Most certainly is. You're dumb, dude.
Which isn't, it's non-refraction because it's not refraction. That is
Damn, 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Jesus. What the fuck?
not it.
I'll look at my settings, but it shouldn't be that much.
I'll show you what that is before I come back here in a second. Right? This is an arc length here. Let's say this is a globe.
Oh my god, this is fucking hysterical. This shows just how fucking stupid Brian is.
Birth of radius 3,959 miles. There's an arc length of 2,000, let's say 105 miles, whatever, right? Here is the same arc length here, right, on a bigger globe. What they claim, right,
What is this, Brian? What the fuck is this? What is this, man? Why did you draw this bigger circle? All 7 over 6R is a ratio to what we should see and what we actually see. If the refractive index changes, it doesn't change the size of the fucking Earth, you moron. He gets this from fucking Quantum Eraser, who thinks that the size of a planet can change with the weather. That's your only rationale for showing this, Brian, is that you think that.
zoom in here, you'll see. Look at look, what would be a geometric drop from the tangent to this point, right? From this person here. If they're looking straight out, that's their tangent is their line of sight, right?
Right, that's horizontal. Right. This line is horizontal to this person right here. But to this person right here, that line of sight is not horizontal.
There would be an actual geometric drop from this tangent down to this point. But that is not terrestrial refraction, or I should say terrestrial non-refraction.
No, that's not refraction. Refraction is the amount of bend the light will have passing through the atmosphere.
Terrestrial non-refraction is where the globe has expanded in size for the observer.
See? What I tell you. No, Brian. The globe hasn't expanded in size, you dumb motherfucker. Jesus fucking Christ.
Right? This is all matter.
See, this is what you get when you have an empty trash can and you fill it with shit. Brian's head.
Mathematical, based off of the unmeasured geometry of a globe Earth that never happened, right? They don't have any measurements to base.
Yes, we do have measurements, Brian. WGS 86 is a very good set of measurements taken of the globe using spherical excess, which is only possible on a globe, not possible on flat Earth. So you're dumb as fuck, Brian.
They're 7 over and greater than 7
Hey, Arnold.
over 6 on, right? But what it actually is not what that stupid website is trying to say. They don't even know what they're talking about. It is, what's happening is, the claim is that this object here, because of 7 over and greater than 7 over 6R, it has increased the apparent size of the globe Earth. It is unbending the globe, right? So the line of sight stays straight. It doesn't curve like...
No, Brian, that's not the claim. That's not the claim, man. Why are you straw manning physics? That's not the claim.
If I just go back there
That's QE's claim, because QE's a dumb fuck, just like you. But that's not the claim, Brian.
for a second.
Why do you have to constantly fucking lie?
It's not curving like these idiots are trying to show, and these frauds who don't even know what they're frauds, and they don't even know what they're talking about. Makes it twice as bad. It's unbending. So
Yep, all the smart people are frauds, and they don't know what they're talking about. But a high school dropout knows what's up. Yeah, he's setting them straight.
when eventually it unbends enough, this will appear up here, especially if it's a high object. The claim is that it'll appear up here in the straight line of sight of the observer. Right? It's bullshit.
No, it appears in the curved line of sight of the observer, dipshit. That's what refraction does to the line of sight.
Mathematics based off of a geometry that was never measured, a geometry that is a back engineering of flat Earth.
No, globe Earth isn't a back engineering of flat Earth, dipshit. We didn't take flat Earth maps and create a globe from them. Your flat Earth maps came from the globe. Never would have existed without the globe.
Flat plane measurements, remember, latitude and longitude grid, right? And that is what it is. And they add this in because you can see mountains at a distance.
Right, that you wouldn't be able to see because of the geometry of the Earth, Brian. That's why we can't see the bottoms of any of those mountains in these long distance observations. Because the Earth's curved, dumb fuck.
You can see these big
On a flat Earth, if you can see the tops, you should fucking be able to see the bottoms.
mountains at a distance that debunks the geometry of their globe. So they need to make up a heap of rubbish for them to be able to tell you how you can see these things that are just there. Right? This is what they're trying to do.
You know what a heap of rubbish is, Brian? Some dumb motherfucking high school dropout. I don't know. It could be grade school dropout for I know. Telling the entire world that they're full of shit, and you know what's best. That a person who didn't take science or physics or any other subjects, that they just quit, is telling the world that no, you're full of shit and I'm the smart one. That's a load of rubbish.
But they have it completely wrong because they're curving the line of sight here and keeping this surface here of the same radius. No, this surface has to have an apparent radius now that has increased, right? So this mountain comes up into the straight line of sight of the person looking from here.
No, see, that's what refraction does. It bends your straight line of sight, so it's as if it's straight to you, Brian. It's as if it's straight to you. Hey, U.S. editor, how you doing? Been trying to sound authoritative while playing with it. Yeah. They wouldn't know how to use the sharpener. Yeah, absolutely. They just use their teeth. They don't need a sharpener.
So the zeniths are not as divergent.
A sharpener is just wasteful. It's like throwing cereal in the garbage.
The zeniths start to become parallel, bringing the mountain up. That is their claim. That is what 7 over and greater than 7 over 6. Right, 7 over 6 is standard refraction. Greater than 7 over 6 and 7 over 6 are all terrestrial / atmospheric refraction. Right, it's 7 over is called standard if you go to Metabunk. Right, you will have 7 over 6. Right, let's show you here. Approximate radius of 7432.83 kilometers. That's the 7 over 6 that they're talking about. Sorry, there it is. 6371 kilometers. Sorry, where are we? It's here somewhere. I think I'm looking. Yeah, that's the refraction one. Sorry. So the I don't use kilometer as much. So the point being is that the 7/6 that is there. That's the standard, what they call standard refraction, which is not refraction. That is 7/6 of the radius of a globe, and
So it's standard refraction, which isn't refraction. What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? I got a sports car, but it's not a car. I got long pants, but they're not pants. What the fuck are you talking about?
you'll never see an observation that will show you the actual globe. There's always some amount of terrestrial refraction. This is what they have to say because there is no globe. So they have to say that, right? So, but what these people don't realize.
Wow, what a dumb motherfucker. Holy crap, Brian.
Is that they're not even able to describe 7 over and greater than 7/6 correctly. They're not able to describe terrestrial refraction correctly. They don't know what it is. They're curving this line of sight. They're curving a tangent. You don't curve a tangent. Even just show, where are we? Metabunk. Right. Even Metabunk isn't curving a tangent. Right. Eye height, eye level. That is the tangent. Surface level, that is the tangent. They're not curving the tangent. Right? You know what I mean? There is no curving of a tangent in Metabunk because.
Oh my god. Holy shit. I gotta pee. I'll be right back. Damn.
That once you curve the tangent, right, it's not a tangent anymore. The line of sight is the tangent. So this would be the tangent. And say they have them looking down. Right, there's no one looking down. And because there's no one looking down, everyone's looking in a straight line. They then have to try and tell you that you're actually curving your line of sight. No, I'm not. You don't know what you're talking about beyond horizons. You're boneheads. You don't know what refraction is. You don't know what light is. Right? You should be
Says the guy that thinks an increase in refraction makes the Earth bigger. Okay.
describing this situation where there's an unbending of a globe out, causing this here to raise up, apparently up into the observer's line of sight. That's what it is. The thing you can't see that's well below the tangent, well below on a globe, is suddenly being brought up by terrestrial refraction, so you can see it in your straight line of sight. That's what terrestrial refraction is, right? And to prove it, I will show, right? I will prove it, right? So if you're talking about, let me see, I'll prove it here, right? If you see an horizon near, right, that appears to be near an island, and that island is 9 miles away, right? How do you determine how much terrestrial refraction there is? Shout out to Adam.
You determine that by taking the lapse rate, by measuring the lapse rate, measuring the air temperature at different heights, and measuring the barometric pressure. That's how you measure. That's how you determine how much refraction should be in the air. That's how you do that, Brian. You don't look at the fucking water.
I'm going to use his.
Now you can make a rough estimate, but no, you don't look at the fucking water.
calculation for this. Well, you take, let's just say, you take the distance, right, which is sorry, you square the square the distance. So sorry, go back there. Right, so you 9, right, squared multiplied by 2640, right, equals 21,000, right, sorry, 213,840, right? And let's just say your eye height, you're seeing an apparent horizon at near an island that you know is 9 miles away, and your eye height is 20 feet. So you then divide that by your eye height, right, 20 feet, right, and you get this, right? That means that is your new apparent radius, this here. So then, to find out...
No, Brian, the radius of the fucking Earth doesn't change with refraction. It fucking doesn't. Holy cow, he's stupid.
How much over 6R there is, you divide that by 3959, right? 2.700, right? And then you multiply that by 6. Multiply by 6 equals 16.2 over 6R. So what it means is that the way to describe that would be, if you're seeing an horizon that appears 9 miles away from you from a 20-foot observation height, then that means that there is 16.2 over 6R. Now, maybe the observation height was a little bit high. Should have maybe brought it down geometrically. Point being is that that's how you determine how much over 6R. So for this observation, there was 16.2 over 6R, right? That has to be there for you to see at 20 feet elevation, for you to see an horizon that appears to be 9 miles away, based off of an island that you know is 9 miles away from you. So that's how that works. That's how you determine how much over 6R there is. Now, that means that this, right, your horizon, which on the person's horizon here, on this globe, right, it's not really an horizon, it'll be a leading geometric globe's edge, will be here, right? But on this here, it will be here, right? It'll stretch out further. So what that means is that it is the unbending of the globe is what gives you, right, the claimed unbending of the globe is what terrestrial claimed non-refraction is. No, so it's not what these people are claiming. It's not a curving of the line of sight, right?
Yeah, it's so cute when they do math. Yes, it is a curving of line of sight, you stupid motherfucker. The Earth doesn't get bigger when the weather gets worse. That's what you're saying, Brian. You're saying that the Earth gets bigger when there's more refraction. And that's just fucking insane.
There is no curving of the line of sight. There is an uncurving of the globe Earth. And as I said, they have to have this because the globe Earth doesn't exist. So you'll be, when the weather clears up, you can see things at massive distances that debunks their geometry that doesn't exist as a measurement. And they need to come up with some rubbish to explain that, and they do, by basing mathematics off of that geometry that they have no measurements for. The geometry that's a back calculation of flat Earth measurements. So that's what they have to do. So,
man, his brain is so fucked, and he's just so fucked. He is just so fucked in the head.
So, long story short, I know what I'm talking about.
I'm glad I'm not him.
These people are pretenders and bullshitters. Right? There is no curving line of sight. That doesn't happen.
I'll be right back.
And down here, you have this light curving effect of refraction, right? Not refraction, can be clearly seen in this picture of the rising sun with a deformed shape as a consequence. No, that is what's known as the sun mirage. Once again, not refraction. Mirages aren't refraction, right? They all have.
Mirages most certainly fucking are refraction, you moron. Oh my God, are you fucking stupid, dude? Yes, mirages are an effect of refraction. Jesus fucking Christ. He just wrong. Wrong all the fucking time.
Happening in a single medium, not refraction. right? This is the sun mirage. This is what, that may be the sun here. That may be the sun. This is not the sun. This is
What do you think a change in medium means, Brian? It means a change in the density of the medium. It doesn't have to be two separate things like air and water or glass and air or glass and water. It's a change in the density of the medium. Fuck me, you're stupid.
maybe the sun here at a distance. This here is not the sun, right? This, I'm just going to make a, let me just see, open, image, a new tab. Let me just show, right? Let me just make it a bit bigger. This here may be the sun, right, at a distance. This here is not the sun. In the morning and in the evening, you have what's known as the sun mirage at the horizon. It is not the actual sun. This is the thing they've called the sunset for years when it's not the actual.
No, that's the actual sun, Brian. You're seeing the sun. Your curved line of sight is seeing the sun. Fuck me.
The sun, because the sun
Holy
either
Jesus.
hasn't reached that point yet, or it's already after gone further away from that point. So in the morning it won't have reached the point. In the evening it will be already gone away from it. So the point being is that you can see a big huge sun at the half a sun at the horizon in the evening time, and it's the same size as it was earlier in the day, or even bigger by angular size. That's just
How is it illuminating those clouds from underneath, Brian? How's that happening? How are these clouds being illuminated from underneath when the sun has to be above them? How is that happening, Brian? How does it look like it's below the clouds? See, on a flat earth, that could never happen, Brian. The sun would always be like up here. No lower than like up here.
to say, but if you measured it, like, because all the glare here and
Jesus
whatever.
Christ.
Point being is that it is not the sun. Officially, there is no sunset. It doesn't happen. Officially, it's called the sun mirage. They just didn't tell you all that. But you keep on fighting for this globe that doesn't exist. And one of your proofs is this sunset that doesn't happen. Not only is the sun that's claimed to be setting and rising claimed to be just a mirage, so not actually geometrically there, but the horizon is also not geometric.
Yeah, it is. It would have to be geometric to be apparent, Brian. See, if something isn't geometric, it means it doesn't exist. It means that there'd be nothing for light to bounce off of to our eyeballs.
And it's a horizontal line, rate of slope 0, right?
Then why is the sun cut off halfway, Brian? Why? Why can we only see half the sun, or less than half? How could the sun possibly go down that low in the sky, Brian? It could never go below your eye line. See, your eye line's right here, Brian. How can it be below your eye line?
How do we define curvature? A change in the rate of slope over distance. That means curvature must have a rate of slope. The horizon has no rate of slope. The horizon is purely an optical phenomenon, purely an optical location. There isn't
Right. The location of the horizon, the location of the tangent of the Earth is further away because of refraction, Brian. Because of standard refraction, it looks like it's further. But that's because light bends. Jesus fucking Christ.
no way to determine the actual distance to it because it doesn't have one, right? There is no sunset, so this is all rubbish, right? But, oh, sorry, I went the wrong way.
Jesus Christ, man.
Back here. So, here we have the
I mean, it isn't even fun to laugh at him anymore. It's just sad.
nonsense where they're saying this is refraction. No, it is a mirage. It's not refraction. It's all happening in one medium. So, well, let's go on to
Jesus Christ.
Snell's law, right? Well, right. Snell's law is a change in the angle, right? It's a change in the angle of the light, right? So the more dense, right, the medium, right, is in general, like water, right, the more the light will tend towards the perpendicular, right? Let's just say the vertical. Whereas the less dense the medium, the more the light will tend towards the horizontal. It's probably the easiest way to describe it, right? So let's say sunlight is hitting the surface here, it has to be a horizontal boundary, right? And the angle of incidence changes, right? The angle of incidence.
No, it doesn't have to be horizontal, Brian. That happens in glass. It happens with glass, Brian. Surface. Are you saying the surface of the earth? Is this what you're saying, Brian? The surface of the earth? Is this what you think surface means of the earth? Well, then how could you have, yeah. You're an idiot, Brian. You're a fucking moron.
Causes a change in the angle. So this would be 30 degrees, but this might only be 15 or 20 degrees. That's just
right. Yeah, you can do that looking into the side of a fucking fish tank, Brian. You get the same effect looking into the side of a fish tank. So it doesn't have to be horizontal. Whatever surface, you could take water and fill up a pyramid with it. Right? A glass pyramid. A tank, like a prismatic triangle, and you would be looking at it this direction. So, no, it doesn't have to be horizontal, the surface that light enters, you stupid motherfucker.
See it that way, right? There is no curving happening here. This is a straight line and then another straight line.
Right, it's a sharp curve. Yes, light is not going straight, Brian.
It's a change.
But if you get a gradient refraction, like the atmosphere, because it's at different densities, it does this. So it's straight for a little bit. Actually, it's right. And then up. It son of a bitch. And then it bends a little bit. Then it bends a little bit more because it's going through a gradient atmosphere, which the layers of density are very thin. Right? It's called a curve, Brian. It's called a curve. See, if you take a bunch of little bitty angles, right? If I can move this here closer, you get all these little bitty changes. Just very slight changes in angle. You get a curve, Brian. The path of that light is curved. So you're an idiot.
In the angle. Angles do not have curved lines. Right? There is no curved line. This is a change in the angle. Right? That's why when you put a spoon into a glass of water, that's a glass that's half full with water, you can see that the spoon, right, will have a change. The spoon you see under the water will look very different from the spoon you see above the water. If you don't know,
right, it will just be in a different location, Brian, than it would be if you had a direct line of sight. Doesn't look any different.
Any water in it, the spoon won't have any change at all because you only have one medium. You add the second medium and you see the refraction happening to the spoon. That is what refraction is. That is Snell's law. It is not like a change in the density of the medium. No, it is a difference in.
Yes, it is a change in the density of the medium. You fucking retard.
The densities and makeups of the mediums. Right, that's what the refractive index is. So the refractive index of air is different from the refractive index of water. Right, the overall refractive index is different for both. But that doesn't mean if you have a density differential within any of these mediums that suddenly changes the overall density of the medium. Or
why do you think fucking a laser curves in a tank with sugar water in it, man? If you dump sugar in a tank and you let it equalize, and it's going to dissolve, and it's going to get denser at the bottom of the tank and less dense at the top of the tank, like bends, motherfucker. How do you explain that? That's the same fucking water. It's the same density, or it's the same medium. It just changes density from bottom to top, just like it does in our air.
Changes the Snell's law, or changes the refractive index of it. It doesn't. There is no changing of.
Oh, I'd like for him to go to a goddamn physics professor and have a discussion in front of his class.
Of the refractive indexes, right? You can start trying to change them by adding in pressure and temperature and other nonsense that has nothing got to do with Snell's law. Look, it's about the angle, right? The angle here when it meets the surface and the changing of the angle. That's what it's about. Go on to the, where is it? Sorry, is it right here? Right, particle path, right? Particle, remember, right? Light. You have fast medium, slow medium. So it's claimed that the light moves faster through less dense mediums and slower through more dense mediums. So light will tend more towards the horizontal in air and more towards the vertical in water. Right? So Snell's law requires horizontal and vertical. Requires, overall, it will require flat Earth. Right? Because
no, it doesn't require horizontal and vertical, Brian. Jesus Christ. Holy fuck. These lines are perpendicular to each other, but it doesn't require a horizontal and a vertical. Holy fucking shit.
The Earth is flat. But point being is that these people on Beyond Horizons don't have a clue about what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. They think that's somehow refraction.
Yeah, it is. It's also impossible on a flat Earth, Brian.
Somehow this rubbish, but this is not refraction at all. This is not what they're claiming is not refraction, and this is not refraction. There's no curve. Show me how you have a curved line in. How can you have a curved line here? How can you have this? You can't have a curved line.
Make this line short. Make this line really short, and then just keep adding angles, Brian. Just like that. That's how you can have a curved line, stupid.
You know what I mean? You can't have that in Snell's law. That is, refraction is a changing of the angle of, you know what I mean, due to the boundary, the interaction the light has with the boundary between the two mediums, that surface.
Right. This example is, but Snell's law also works in a varying density medium, dipshit. Good fucking Lord.
That's what it is. There is no curving of the light. Light does not curve. People need to wake up. That doesn't happen.
Experiments showing the curving of light.
This laser is aimed directly at a hole in this 2-liter bottle. If I open the bottle to let water flow out, the laser beam will bend with the stream and hit the pan. This demo is even cooler in the dark as you can see the sharp bend of the laser. The light internally reflects in the stream and provides a visual example of the principle that fiber optic cables use.
Here we go.
Hey everyone, today I'm going to be showing you a crazy cool experiment that you can probably do at home that shows you how to bend light. But before I do that,
and flat earthers love this channel because they think he proves them right.
Experiment, I want to first convince you that light moves in a straight line. Okay, proof number one that light usually moves in a straight line. You can't see me right now. So if light didn't move in a straight line, you'd be able to see me right now because the light would just come from my face.
All right. So he does a lot of math.
Index, this has a medium one, this has a low one. Now the effect of light moving slower as it goes through a denser medium is actually really interesting because what it causes it to do is that as soon as the light enters that new medium, it causes the light to bend. So for example, using my acrylic vacuum chamber lid and this laser here, you can see how the path of light bends as soon as it enters the acrylic here. If the acrylic's straight on, it goes straight. But once I change the angle, it gets really dramatic.
Yep, that's Snell's law. So what is he going to do here?
so that it points at the bottom instead of just going straight. Okay, here we go, shining my laser through it. Look what happens as it gets near the bottom. Look how it looks like it's attracted to the bottom. So it curves.
What is that, Brian? What the fuck is that, Brian? Is that curving light? Is that light curving, Brian?
So cool.
So what's it doing, Brian? Looks like it's curving, bud. Hey, Calder.
There is no curved light. Now, people might say, oh, what about a fish tank with sugar water in it, right?
Yeah, a varying density medium, but still a single medium.
Now, sugar water is not air. It's water with sugar dissolved into it, right?
Yeah.
It's a completely different medium. It's
Right? It's a fluid. It's a fluid just like air. Light passes through it just like air. Has a different density just like our atmosphere.
has its own refractive index, and if you're talking about shooting a laser beam through that fish tank of water, the laser beam, right, if you look at the demonstrations, they always try to tilt that laser beam up the way, number one, to extenuate the amount of curve that will happen to that laser. The only reason...
Yes, because if you're going straight through a density layer, you're not changing the density, dipshit. You aren't changing the refractive index of the light. There's no moving from one density to another. That's why they point it up or down.
The reason the laser curves, right, in sugar water is because sugar is dextro-rotatory, which means...
No, that has nothing to do with the curving of the light this way. The dextro-rotating curves it this way, spins it, Brian, on its axis. You're a stupid fuck. You heard that phrase and now you think you know everything about it, but you don't. You're a dumb motherfucker, Brian, and you don't know what you're talking about.
Is that light, when a laser, let's just say, shone through it, we don't live in lasers and we don't live in sugar water, but the point being is that the laser, when shone through it, will bend down slightly or take a downward path. So
because of the density. See, the polarity of light, it rotates the polarity of light this way, not this way, dipshit. Fucking idiot.
Now, with something like nicotine, which is levorotatory, the laser will bend or take a path upwards. It won't, right? And that is, so when they show you a fish tank with a laser and they say this is refraction, it is as much as the laser has the medium of air, then the glass, and then the sugar water. That's three mediums.
No, that's not what does it, Brian. It's not what does it. It'll do the same thing if you put the fucking laser in the water. It'll do the exact same thing, Brian.
So yeah, that part, right, the angle of incidence there, right, with the boundary between the air and the glass, then the glass and the water, right, that is refraction. But the bending thing, or the changing of the direction of the light, and the bending is only extenuated by the fact that the person tilts up the laser. If they shot it straight through it, it will go straight and then slightly tend towards the back corner of the tank. And the tank is a flat plane. So it doesn't prove anything, right? It only proves that whoever's putting it together is a fraud. And
So, Action Lab is a fraud? No, he's showing you right here, man. He's showing you right here. Notice that it only starts going up, but you see it goes up. When he's shining it up, see it's actually going up a little bit here, Brian, if you look. If you really pay attention. See how the light's going up from the thing, and then it's going back down? See that, Brian? See how it's going, see how it's going up and then it's curving down. How does that work, man? See, this is telling you that it isn't the air or this that's causing this curvature. It's the density of the water. Then he explains it. But anyway.
Or 48 hours. So the sugar dissolved, but it didn't.
They're trying to deceive people. The refraction part of that whole thing is not addressed. They're calling the change in the direction of the light inside the medium as the refraction when it's not. And they're ignoring the fact that the audience don't know that they're using sugar water, which is dextrorotatory.
Yeah, so you don't know what you're talking about, Brian. And yes, the audience, when they're looking at that demonstration, knows that it's sugar water because they tell them. You stupid fuck.
Right, sorry, dextrorotatory. So the whole lot is a complete and utter fraud. All of it is a fraud. That whole thing is a fraud. The only part of that as I said, that is refraction is the angle that the light is coming through and interacting with those two boundaries.
So you're saying it's all fake news and you know the truth? Is that what you're saying, Brian? How fucking lame are you, man? How fucking lame.
Air to glass and glass to water.
I mean, this is just pure gaslighting. That's all it is. Oh, all this reality, it's fake. But I know the truth.
Blah, blah, blah. Right? That nonsense that they're doing inside the tank, right, they're making happen because they're tilting up the laser. All that has nothing to do with anything. And that won't happen. You can get, just on the whole point of density, you can get another solution that with the same exact density, and even if there's a density gradient within the medium, as the sugar water, but if it's not dextrorotatory, the light will not do that.
Bullshit. Fucking bullshit, Brian. Bullshit.
And if it's not levorotatory, then it won't do that in the opposite direction, in the opposite vector upwards.
Dextrorotational. Dextrorotation or dextrorotatory describes the substance's ability to rotate the plane of plane polarized light in a clockwise direction to the right when viewed by an observer facing the light source. See, it's rotating it this way. As you're looking into the light, it's rotating the polarity this way, Brian. That's what it's doing, dipshit. It has nothing to do with curving, you stupid motherfucker.
So that whole thing is a complete fraud. So when I say light doesn't bend, it doesn't. In reality, light is not going around the place, bending all over the place. Right? That is not refraction. Refraction is a change in the angle of the light, and they basically describe it as faster and slower. Right? That's how it's described. I don't know if that's the correct description for it, but that's how it's described. I wouldn't totally agree with that.
God, you're stupid.
But that's the it's the diffusion rate.
Hey, Real Arnold. Oh, you were here earlier. Sorry.
As well of the light within air and in the likes of water, right? Point being is that what they're claiming is not refraction. None of this is refraction. Now, what's the point of me going through all this? Is
damage control, gaslighting. That's the point, Brian. That's the point.
Right? My point is very simple. If we come back just briefly to here, remember there what they said. These are the all highlighted and emboldened. We require a certain contrast, right? This is how they determine that you're seeing the object, and the object is really there, right, to have your observation on their website, right? This is how they determine it. This is definitely there, and they know it is because.
Where's the rest of those mountains, Brian?
Of the light and how it's interacting with the snow, and because of the differential here with the light with the background, how this is all blocking the background. So that means that they're agreeing right, via their own standards, that you are photographing that mountain, that mountain is actually there, you're actually
No, you're photographing the path of light to the mountain, Brian. And it always takes a curved path.
photographing it. But then you come to this nonsense and they're claiming that you're not seeing the mountain, you're photographing something that isn't the mountain, right? This variation causes the traveling light to cross air at different conditions, curving its trajectory as a consequence of changing a refractive index, right? And then allowing a hidden mountain to show up above the horizon. So what they're claiming is that this mountain is being lifted up above this person's horizon.
Yes, that's what refraction does, Brian. We've tried to explain this to you thousands of fucking times, but you're too fucking stupid to understand it.
What they're claiming, right? As I showed earlier.
And you're too fucking dishonest a piece of shit to accept it.
But that's what's actually happening, right? If I see if I can, it's only increasing the size here. Point being is that if I, 1 second, I just go up here like that, and I bring this back down to 2, right? As you can see,
God, he's dumb as fuck. He actually thinks that the Earth gets bigger when the weather changes.
as I go up, 1 second now, I'll show you it. Right, as I go up, right, and I bring it back to 2,100. Oh, sorry. Let's say about that. Let's zoom in. As you can see, if there's a high object here, they're saying that object has been brought up. So if I just get a segment a second and go here to here, right? So there, right, sorry. So what they're trying to claim is that the globe has increased in size, right? Apparently, for the observer,
No, not Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my God.
allowing for this object here, right? Sorry, to be seen, or more of the object to be seen, right? This is what they're trying to claim, because when that object is on their little globe here, you can't see it. So it has to be lifted up. So what?
Yes, refraction bends light down so you can see the thing below the fucking horizon, Brian. Just like their illustration showed. I'm done with this motherfucker. I'm done with this. I can't fucking listen to this liar anymore. Not today. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk to you later. And click like, subscribe if you haven't. Check your notification bell. Make sure it's how you want it. And yeah. Till tomorrow. Be seeing you. Yeah, even makes Dick Wayne seem like he's normal. Yeah, absolutely.